LEGO fans, and welcome back to MB Bricks. My name is Maya, and today we are going to be looking at my large medieval street market. This build consists of 4 48 by 48 base plates, and each base plate has a different section of the market on it. First up, we've got the fishery on the end here. We then built the bakery, which does have some fun spike prime functions with it. Next up, we have the Cartwright or Wainwright, and on the end here we have the Tannery. If you like medieval style builds, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe below to see more of that content on my channel. Now, without further ado, let's take a full tour of the street. I was very excited to get back into the medieval style building after working on Jurassic Park for such a long time. I decided to work on a little medieval village built beside a large stream of water and wanted to make it into 4 sections, each with its own little building and craft. I have used a muted color scheme for most of the landscaping and structures, with bright pops of colors for the trees, which I think turned out very nice. I have tried to make the streets look very busy with lots of figs and livestock wandering around. First up, I created the fishery, which is located right beside a small dock for fishing and hitching small rowboats. There is one fig fishing off the side of the dock, and another fig just arriving back in his boat. He does not seem impressed that he has a small stowaway on board. Locked crates on the back of his boat suggest that he is up to no good. Back on land, we can see a customer walking up to the fishery market, horse and buggy in tow. The fisherman is greedily grinning, watching the fig arrive as he stands proudly outside his shop. I have used the sail pieces from the Silent Mary ship throughout this build, which I think gives a nice effect to the stalls. I have used crates of brightly colored fish and seafood to really stand out, and perhaps showing off the best of his trade. To the left of his house, we can see a small outdoor work hut, where the fisherman would be preparing freshly caught fish to be sold. Taking a look at the interior of the fishery, we can see the medieval people did not have much. A large fireplace on the left-hand side was the only way to warm the inside of the house. A very modest bed in the corner was a basic built frame, topped with some moss, leaves, and, if you were lucky, feathers to try and add some comfort. The fisherman had a small work table where he could scale fish inside if he wanted to, with a couple of barrels of fish in the front of the mock. I used the tan grate style plate pieces throughout this build to represent straw on the floor, which was often used in the medieval ages to try and add warmth and comfort to the hard stone floors. Next up, we can see the bakery, which creates lots of delicious food items using a large stone oven off to the left of the building. The market stall is double-sided and is selling a variety of baked goods, including bread, croissants, pretzels, and pies. A happy customer is walking away with a yummy pie to take home for his family. Just arriving on horse is a black falcon knight who is swooned over by the ladies who work at the bakery. I have used spike prime power functions to show a lady moving quickly to the doorway of the bakery to greet the knight with a giggle as he trots by. The function of the moving maid is pretty simple, using one spinning gear, which moves a gear rack that slides on tiles and is held in place with a brick frame. To add on the delay as the lady approaches the door, I have set up a Mindstorms app with the Spike Prime to have the gear rotate halfway at reduced speed, stop and wait for 4 seconds, then run the opposite way for half a rotation, and wait 2 seconds. This gives a nice pause without it seeming unnatural that she would be just moving in and out continuously. Inside the bakery, we can see some ladies hard at work preparing lots of baked goods. The large oven on the right-hand side is using the light function available with the Spike Prime to get that flickering effect. It's a simple turn on at 50% brightness and turn off with no wait time in between. This gives it a flickering effect as it barely turns off before turning back on again. I have 2 lights sticking up between a Technic plate and then have the trans-color studs on top for the embers burning. The oven is currently baking bread, and we can see more crates with more bread as well as some wheat to be prepared. Finished baked goods can be seen on the prep table at the front of the building, ready to go out to the market stall. Another simple bed, built the same way as the fishery, is in the small area of the shop, given some privacy with a ragged cloth. Continuing on, we can see a small path that extends beyond the back of the MOC between the bakery and the Cartwright. This would lead to the rest of the village, and we can see a goat herder with his goats making his way into the main street. The Cartwright is the person who builds wheels for a variety of purposes, including wagons, and can also repair them. I have built a large stall area here with custom-built bins to hold the different sizes and colors of wheels. A couple of figs are browsing the selection of wheels available. To the left of the building, we can see a small outdoor workshop where the Cartwright is currently working on repairing a wagon wheel to be reattached to the broken wagon behind him. I have tried to keep this a similar design throughout the build as well, using some printed tiles on top and giving an angled shape to the roof. Inside the Cartwright shop, we can see a large spinning wheel that is being worked on. Being able to spin the wheel while working on it is helpful, as the wheels were generally quite heavy due to them being crafted from wood. There is a large bin of wood located beside the wheel, ready to be used. A couple of finished wheels are to the front of the MOC. We can also see a small workbench, sleeping area, and trunk that would have held the Cartwright's few possessions, as there's not a lot to own in the medieval times. Finally, we have arrived at the tannery. The tanner would take animal skin and tan them using animal or human urine and cure them to create leather. This was a very stinky profession and often was pushed to the outskirts of town, where the poorest people lived. I have tried to represent this by showing the nicely carved edge of the river just ending into the uneven rocky terrain. A small path leads between the rocks and extends beyond the MOC into a forested area. The poorest people in the medieval era would sell their pee to the tanner, which is where the phrase piss poor originated from. If you were so poor that you didn't even have a way to bring your urine to the tanner, then you were considered to be so poor you don't even have a pot to piss in. The tanner would then use the urine to soak the animal hides to produce leather. Urine was used as the skins needed to be soaked in something acidic. You can see the barrels of pee right next to the steam, and the tanner walking up with a large animal hide. The skins were then hung under the small covered area here, ready to cure and dry, and I have used the newly colored cloud piece in the bright light yellow to represent the different stages of curing. Once the skins had turned into leather, the tanner would roll it up and sell it. I have a few black capes rolled up here and tied with an Lego elastic band to represent the finished product. The inside of the tannery was the smallest of all the buildings, but still had the basic necessities for survival. A decent-sized fireplace would have kept the inside nice and warm. I don't think the tanner wanted to take his stinky work inside, so I've kept the inside more of a homesteading with a little table and bed, as well as a trunk. I have once again used the tan grate style pieces to represent the straw that would have been used to give the floors a bit of warmth and comfort in the medieval ages. And that covers everything for this medieval market street. If you like medieval builds, be sure to check the description below for a link to a playlist of all those types of builds on my channel. If you haven't already, please do subscribe as it helps this channel out a lot. Thanks so much for checking out this video today, guys, and until next time, keep on building.